Hello and welcome to History Gossip, the place where we whisper the loudest stories of Zambia's past. I am your host Fred Mlenga KJR, and today we are not just gossiping, we are going home. The topic of discussion today is the birth of Lusaka's Shanty compounds. So when you hear the word Shanty, what comes into your mind? Basically, the word Shanty means a crudely built cabin, shelter, or house. Okay, since we are talking of the shanties in Lusaka, I want us to understand a little bit on how Lusaka came about, the history of Lusaka, and we shall rewind back into 1930s when Lusaka was declared, or what word can I use? I don't know. But when Lusaka was made the capital city of Northern Rhodesia, or Northern Rhodesia, I don't know, it's up to you. Okay, so this was a moment when Zambia was being colonized by the British or Britain. So at this period, between 1929 and 1930s, the British South African company had built a railway which was running from Copperbelt to Cape Town in South Africa. And Lusaka was made more of a station where they would rest, eat, drink, and proceed with their journey. And also infrastructure was taking place. And we basically know that where there's development and infrastructure activities taking place, people sought to go to such areas so that they can find a job, and so that they can find a job to feed their families. So now, it so happened that people were coming from the villages coming to Lusaka. And at that period, the colonies were given, had restrictions to how people would travel from one place to another. They were given what they used to call a pass, meaning you are allowed to go to a particular place, and they would even denote the period which you are allowed to be in that place. And in local language, they used to call it as chitupa. Yeah, I don't know that language though. Yes. Anyway, that aside. Okay, so now when this pass expires, the police who were in charge by then would go around in search of people who are in the city illegally, and they used to call it as chipeken. So now, this is what Zambians today used to do when their chitupa or pass expires. They would go to places to lodge or to build a house, or maybe to hide from the colonial police service. After hiding, this is what was happening. They used to go into places like Kalingalinga, and by then it was being owned by two Indian people, and one of them was nicknamed as Kalingalinga, hence the name until date. So now when they got to that place, the Kalingalinga, so named Indian, used to own the area, and when they go there to lodge or to build a house, they would pay by that time 10 shillings. And once they failed to pay, this is what was happening. They would come and demolish the house, then you've got nowhere to go. Now, seeing that H2PA or passage restrictions, or a duration in which it would permit a particular being to be in a particular place. Now, if it expires, what's next? Okay, this is now the period where shanties were born in Lusaka. This is where the real gossip kicks in. Let's talk names. Chiboria, number 1. If you are a Zambian, I believe you've heard of this place called Chiboria. It's famous with activities. Famous in Lusaka. Yes, okay. So the word Chiboria, it is a Tonga name, which means to abandon or to throw away. That's Chibolia. Okay. Now, what was happening in this period in the 1930s, early 1930s, 40s, 50s? People used to go in Chibolia to go look for houses to rent, because in Chibolia they were quite cheap. And the landowners, seeing that the place is getting densely populated, they began to enlarge the houses. The three-roomed houses would turn into 10-roomed houses, and eventually it would turn into a hotel. Okay, and there were some different activities which were taking place, and a song came out in the early 50s which was saying that ukapita kuchibolia mpaka ukolwe, ukakolewa mpaka ukwatile, ukakana kukatila mpaka umenyewe. Which simply means that when you go to Chibolia, you either get drunk, you either marry. If you don't do these two, you'll be beaten. That's all about Chibolia. Then let's talk of Baulen. Yes, my homeland. Baulen, so interesting. The word Baulen, it's so believed, those are rumors though, it's so believed that it came from a certain man who lived that side first. And by the way, what was happening was this. These old shanties that we know today, they were being owned by a particular person. Like Baulen was being owned by what is believed to be Mr. Bauleni. That's where the name came from. But in the early times, it is believed that Bauleni was a place which was made for disabled people, especially those who had polio. And even up to date, it is so believed that Bauleni is the heart of Lusaka. Anyways, that aside, another shanty compound is Mississippi. So interesting about this. The British people, they used to call Mississippi as Miss Is. That's how they would refer. Now, the local people, in their local language, translated it to Mississippi. Hence the name of Mississippi. A very nice place, by the way. Okay, another interesting shanty compound is John Lane. John Lane came from a British company which was into construction. It was a construction company, and it was the first to be or to reside in John Lane. So now the local people and everybody who was coming was saying, "Nenda kwa John Lane, nenda kwa John Lane." Is the name for John Lane. Okay, and another interesting shanty compound that we can talk about in this episode is George Compound. So George Compound was after a European settler, quite different. Yeah, quite different. European settler or a landowner called George. Last but not the least, the other interesting shanty compound is Matero, a very well-known area in Lusaka, and so interesting. Though the name is debatable until date. Nobody knows where Matero came from. But they suspect or believe that it came from a chief who used to live in that area. Anyways, we'll try to gossip more about it. No one knows yet about Matero. Okay. So that's the scoop about Lusaka's shanty compound and how they came about. So next time you hear the name like Kanyama, Bauleni, no, naenda kwa John Lane, naenda kwa Kalingalinga, just know that they carry history in their names. This has been History Gossip, your weekly passport to the past. Subscribe, share, and join me next time as we uncover more of untold stories. Let the gossip flow.